G'day everybody. Well, on to part 2 of the vintage gas lamppost restoration. Primarily working on rust removal and painting today with this. I've got the exhaust cap and the little raven ready to go. Haven't been able to do much to it, but apart from removal of peeling paint from the exhaust cap. Cannot separate the raven from it, by the way. The screw's well and truly well, it's gone now because I actually had to drill it off, but there's a little bit more up inside of that's holding it on, I'm guessing, so it's a bit of a pain. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very lightly go over this with a bit of sandpaper and then just paint the whole thing with some silver gal, which is just anti-corrosive spray, to just protect any of the bare metal as with I'm going over the rest of the frame and everything else with it. And then the bottom, the exhaust cap, I'm going to paint up with some nice gloss enamel Rust-Oleum, which this stuff's pretty good. I've not had any problems with Rust-Oleum paints, so apart from the nozzles blocking up occasionally, which is a bit annoying, but can't really get in there with a grinder to clean that up, but I've done as best as I can with it. There's no I've just knocked all the loose rust off it, as well as the outside here, and polished it up a bit, so that's ready to go. Just got to do this part next. I've taken out all of the old the gas tubing and the actual burner head, manifold and everything. I'm going to actually clean that up and hold on to it, since Craig and Celia's, I found out the other night, they're no longer with us. They started off in Brunswick actually making LPG out of coke and coal. Coke being a byproduct of coal, by the way, not the drink. And they also in the 50s made a lot of gas appliances, lots of ovens and stoves and things, and things like this, novelty items like gas streetlights and stuff. And so yeah, they're no longer around. They were bought out by Vulcan in the 60s, and it's pretty much the last of them, really. But, that actually feels like magnesium. It's very lightweight, this manifold, so I'm going to still clean it up. Clean up this nice little ball valve, keep that and reuse it for something. And then I'm going to try and repurpose for the actual the globe. When I put a bulb holder in here, I'll probably have to shorten that down and muck around with it a little bit, but I'm sure I'll be able to get something to fit in there. I got some aluminium for the top, as you remember how corroded that was. That's outside, by the way. Just been giving it its undercoat since I've gotten all the rust off. That's you remember how there was like a transition that came up. That was well and truly shot, and it was falling apart, so I just took it all off, cut it all off, and drilled out. And I'm just going to pop rivet some bits of aluminium on, and then make up another bracket so I can put the exhaust cap and the raven back on. Then I'll paint up the rest of that, and we should be right to go. That's now ready for its I've got a few more spots I've got to get, but that's now ready for its finishing coat, top coat. Alrighty, I've rebuilt that whole top end, like I said earlier, out of alley. Just pop riveted it on. And it's pretty strong as well, which is good, so that's pretty pleased with how that's come out. So all I've got to do now is just paint that black, or before I paint it, I'm going to drill 2 holes on either side and attach a sort of like a U-bend to the inside of this, and that'll just screw straight onto the alley. That'll hold the top cap on. So as you remember, that just went over that like so. So and then once that's all done, paint it up, and then I can put the glass back in it. So going pretty well. Alrighty, it's looking really nice now. I've given the exhaust cap the first top coat, and it's come up really nice. I don't even think I need to give it a second coat. The gloss black looks really good on this, and hopefully it'll last a long time too. I did wrap some tin foil around the bird so I don't end up painting it as well. I'm just going to call it the bird since I don't actually know what it is. I reckon it's a raven, but my mum happens to think it's an eagle. And so yeah, if anyone does have any ideas on what it is, please let me know. because I would like to be able to give it a title. It does look sort of like a raven, but you never know what was in the minds of whoever put this thing together, the manufacturers. I've also attached a couple of metal straps to they're just made out of galvanised sheet steel, and that'll allow me to reattach this whole thing to the top of the lantern, since, as you remember, the original bracket that was on there was completely rusted out and destroyed, so I've painted it as well so it sort of blends in a bit, but it's come up really nicely. Just do this next, the main frame of it. I've removed all the rust from that as well, cleaned it all up. I know it still looks like there's some there, but it's actually pretty clean. So we'll have to drill our hole out a bit bigger if I'm going to run a power cord up into it for a sodium lamp or something. That's something else I'm going to have to think about, how to set up a sodium ballast and everything, because I've got a cap and an igniter as well as the ballast. That's going to have to either go in the pole or something, so I'll work something out for that. But that's all ready to be painted, and we got the top piece done as well. That's come up really nicely. The gloss black, it's the best one for this. Looks really nice. So I'll do the inside of that next, and then we should be right to go. So onwards and upwards with this, and then once that's done we can then put the glass back in it, and then this top will be finished. Alrighty, there we have it. We'll paint it up, very nice. Again, like I said, leaving that just straight galvanised. That'll also act as a bit of a reflector for the lamp when it goes in. It's the other side of that done. And there's that, as you saw earlier. So I'm going to conclude this for now. That's all the paint done. Next video will be reassembly and fitting out a lamp in it. Hope you enjoyed it. No, it wasn't much. But thanks for watching.